Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Trader Minutes. Great to have you on board. I'm Carl. Thanks for tuning in this afternoon. And we're going to go make a trade for the challenge, a new challenge trade. We're going to take about half the account, a little bit less than half, and go out and make a trade. The market's up pretty good today. The trade we're looking at, we've discussed this a little bit in chat today. This is one of the stocks that we've looked at today, and just show you what we're going to do here. We're going to make a trade on Bank of America. Okay. Now they announce earnings first thing in the morning. Okay, but we're going to make a trade here. Uh, I will show you what that is. I just want to explain this first. This is a nice looking bullish setup. First of all, a nice looking bullish setup going into an earnings announcement. They tend to gap very little on earnings, up or down. The last two they've gapped up slightly. But with financials nowadays, we've had JP Morgan and Wells Fargo. They announced today, and both of them performed well. That bodes well for pretty much the rest of the sector as they come out with earnings. Okay, is that video back up and running again? Just let me know. You hit Control R. But we're going to go out and make a trade here on Bank of America, and I hope you heard me. I think you heard me if you wasn't seeing it. Okay, all right. All right, thanks, Joyce. So we're going to go out. What we're going to do is we're going to buy 15 contracts for the February $16 calls. So we're going to buy 15 contracts for the February $16 calls, and I'm going to go ahead and just push this out there. And we got filled at 96 cents. Got filled at 96 cents. Okay, so again, this trade's for the challenge. Okay, so all right, so let's go back to the chart again. So we're looking at a chart here of Bank of America. It's a bullish looking chart to begin with. They're going into earnings tomorrow. And if you didn't hear me say it, I just want to review this with you. It typically gaps very little. And now that the big dogs, the Wells Fargo and the JP Morgans of the world have announced, really the rest of the sectors are, I mean, the rest of the banks are kind of transparent at this point, showing their hand already. And that's one of the things with financials are becoming more and more transparent with all the regulations and things that they got to go through, kind of like a lot of the utilities. All right, so we just bought 15 contracts, 15 call contracts for the February $16 strikes. All right, Snag. All right, so and we took a little bit less than half the account to do that on the challenge. So we'll be on for another challenge trade tomorrow. Audio video is still on our end. It still looks like it's coming through. If you can't, maybe refresh. Sorry about that. But emails and texts went out as well. So we bought the Bank of America 15 contracts, calls, the $16 strike price. Yeah, it's a trade. We've just been talking about this stock for a long time now, and a lot of you traded this during the holidays. The stock's really undervalued, really undervalued. Really, book value is in the low 20s. Um, we see a stop here at 1650 here with about an $18 target. The and after the announcement tomorrow, we'll see what the target holds for us at that point. But right now, $18 target with 1650 as a stop. All right, so yeah, we like the setup. We like things are going on. Some of the other stocks we were looking at were some of the ones on my top three. We were looking at Hewlett Packard. We were looking at APC. Um, we were also looking at Time Warner, TWC. And Time Warner, it's a nice setup, a beautiful looking setup. This is a Trend Rider Bull setup. Jumping in the upper band. It's got a lot of news out on it. There's a lot of they're on the they're basically there's a lot of companies bidding on them right now, and most people think the bids are going to come right between about the 145 area. There was one bid that was rejected by them. It's kind of a low ball bid. It was rejected. They got several buyers lined up, and most people think right around 140 to 145 is going to go on these. Options are pretty a little bit overpriced on them right now because of the implied volatility is high at this time right now. So that's one of the reasons we went over with Bank of America. But another looking nice looking bullish setup here on Time Warner Cable. Okay, so if you have any issues, go ahead and chat those in there. Josh is keeping up with everybody on answering everything we did on Bank of America. And again, the emails, texts, all went out. And it's also in the message center. So it's all over the place. All right, I just want to run back through the top three, APC, and just see how they're holding up. And it's one of the things I like to do if I'm doing the wrap up here of the day to see if they're holding up. And yeah, so far APC's holding up. I doubt this is what we got. Half an hour or so left in the trading day. It's still holding up nicely. This is a nice looking breakout, which could pop up here towards the $84 level. All right. And then Google holding up as well. And in fact, it's up towards the highs right now. A very bullish looking setup. Trend Rider. This is a Vibe Bull, not a Trend Rider. It's a Vibe Bull signal. It's got volumes. I like how the volumes have been building here. It's kind of like one of the other stocks we were looking at today. It's all confirmation of a variation of a three methods rising pattern. It's got some decent volumes here. You look at the volumes here, and there's a little bit of a channel, high volumes, and then a nice breakout today. Odds put that going higher as well. And then Hewlett Packard. Funny, Max. Hewlett Packard back towards the highs of the day. It did sell off a little bit at one point, but another nice looking bull vibe setup. And it's had some rising volumes as well. It's not going to be as high today as the others, but this is a nice setup. And I also like the fact that you look at this candlestick action down here towards the 27.5 mark as it fell. You got a nice doji. Sorry, that would be a dragonfly doji, which is a reversal pattern. Got some follow through yesterday, even in the midst of the sell. It was breaking up through 28.5, ended up still closing above the 7, still held its own that day with a gain, and today opened up fairly flat and rushed up over 28.5. A nice looking bullish setup on Hewlett Packard. There was a really nice, a lot of good setups today. And some of the other ones I was looking at, I was watching this one earlier, is Valero. Just sold off a little bit. And tomorrow might give another entrance here, but a push up here over 53. Another nice looking bull vibe setup on Valero. And then again, TWC. We just talked about that one. I like that setup. Apple, even Apple, that's a nice setup today. Talked about it on the top three. It just not quite as strong as action. It's still odds are saying this is likely to run up. If it gets through 550, probably headed towards new highs. I don't think 550 is that big of a level, but you can see it kind of hit around that range here several times during the month of December. If it gets through there, it's probably up towards the new highs. Tesla, yeah, they came out with some guidance and very good looking guidance. And someone in chat was mentioning it happened around, I think it was 12:30 Eastern. That's about the time the news broke of their guidance. And beautiful. It's gone way too far too fast. And as far as the trade here and now, I'm not sure if anybody jumped into that, but yeah, very bullish looking chart here. Okay, and then Adobe. Here's Adobe Systems. This is another one that I came close to putting on the top three. I just cherry picked it. It's a nice bullish setup. It's probably going to run higher. The only reason it didn't make the list, and they don't have to have that volume there, but there's the volume. I mean, it's a little bit lighter volume, but the beautiful setup like that, very, very bullish on Adobe. Adobe I already announced about a month ago in December, so earnings is quite a ways off. Apple's the 27th, Hewlett Packard mid-February. As far as Simon Property Group, it's the 31st, January 31st. Time Warner Cable, the 30th. Mosaic, February 11th. So these all have some time before earnings announcements. All right, if you got a stock you want me to look at, go ahead and put that in there. Yeah, TWC. Yeah, Slawick. Nice. Now this has got you got to know the news. The news is they're going to be sold, and they've got several buyers lined up. They had a lowball offer recently, which was thrown out. And most people think, I was watching an interview today of a few people here on Time Warner Cable, and the valuations, they're thinking evaluations put this around the 145 area to be sold. That happens, it's going to 145. Options are a little bit pricey, not that bad, but a little bit pricey. Implied volatility is here because of what the possible announcement right here. But just know that news. It's not necessarily going to be bad news, since most people think it's going to be sold at a higher price than where it's at. And the values suggest that, again, between about 145 area for most people. That's what most people are saying is likely to sell at. And they're saying that the sell could happen soon. That's all I know. Walgreens. Walgreens had the nice run up. Really, it held its own yesterday in the midst of the selling. It dipped below the sevens, held its own. Today, holding 60. What you'd be looking for here to stay bullish is a push up off of 60. And it could get it. It could get it. It's not going to close below 60 today unless it rallies down into the close. But with 20 minutes in the day, I'd assume it's going to hold. This would be, at this point, just more bullish consolidation. So it got a long ways away from the 7 for a couple days, right? And then down slightly. It did cross below the 7. It takes the bullishness in nature off. Doesn't mean it's reversing and going down. Just watch it around that 60. And if you get a move like that, it's going to run higher. Okay, that's what I look for. And Walgreens, if it closed below the 7, I'd get out. If it had a strong close below 60, I'd probably get out there. All right. VIP shops. Oh, very close to a trend rider signal. If I put this on the vibe, this is a bull vibe signal as well. Very close to a trend rider, bull vibe signal. All the averages rising. See the indicators here rising. The MACD is also rising. A little bit lower volumes, but you don't always need that on these. This is a continuation of a trend, and you can see how it's been rising here. And a lot of these, that's what they'll do, is build these ascending triangle patterns, and a breakout like that is a very bullish sign. This thing breaks over 90, it can springboard $3-4. But if I got in here, the 7's going to be my stop. Where are we at? It's not too far below. Oh, wait a minute, we're at 93.15. So I'd put 90 in that 7-day average, about the same spot right there as your stop. But it's a very nice setup. I like it. Las Vegas Sands. Yeah, a nice move here for Las Vegas Sands, up $1.12, pushed back over the 80 yesterday, sold off on that second round of selling we saw in the market. This sold off. I'm still bullish on this group. It closed just barely underneath the 7, and really kind of the same level that was the prior resistance over here, and today pushing up off of it. I still like the area. If I was in this trade long, I'd stay in and see where it takes you. The other stocks today, this got a little bit of a speed bump on it. Here's win with pretty much another vibe bull signal today. And then you look at MGM, very nice signal, very strong. Las Vegas Sands, it hit a speed bump with the downgrade it got yesterday, but overall, I still think I'm still very bullish on these. Nice, Jimmy. Nice. 110%. Very nice. Love the action today. If I bring in it's up in the upper Bollinger Band. This you could just ride it with the band. If it doesn't stay in, you can see how it's just been going underneath it. Not a big shocker if it closes back inside the band, but if it does close negative or you get a gravestone doji, something like that, I'd look to take the rest of it. But right now, yeah, no need to run. Very good, Jimmy. Nice work. Yeah, it's great to have Josh on board. He's got a lot of knowledge. I always love running things past him as well here at work. Okay, so we jumped into a position on Bank of America. We bought 15 contracts, calls, the $16 strike price, and we got in at 96 cents. All right. And if you have any questions, comments, go ahead and type those in there. You bet. I'll look at Wells Fargo. Yeah, or initially down to turn and come positive today. So you look at this. This is an earnings day for them. A little bit of a bigger candle, but overall, kind of a mellow reaction. And that's how most of these banks are, mellow reactions. Overall, I still think this is a positive move. But thanks, Vegas. So yeah, Wells Fargo is still holding its own today. Came back very nicely. Look at the other one, J.P. Morgan, pulled back a little bit, but overall, both charts and the earnings uh, were good for both of them. All right. Okay, I'll be on chat with you the rest of the afternoon. If you have any questions, comments, you can put them in there, or you can reach me through email as well. It's Carl at TraderMinute.com. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you later. Bye bye.